Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
How does she not resign after this? This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Get the merch link in the description section. Put in the discount code right here. Get one of these shirts. We got a whole bunch of shirts on there, and they're all going viral. Get yours today. Put in Fight 24. Get 24% off. Like this video, like this video, like this video. Comment on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Kimberly Cheatle is, Kimberly Cheatlehead should lose her job. I don't even think it's close. Listen, if you preside over an agency where your whole mission is to protect the president and you fail at that, not just fail, you fail miserably to the point where if Donald Trump didn't do this, he wouldn't be here today. And we have a hero who was killed and others injured because of a complete failure in leadership and tactic. And you got this Kim Cheatle idiot on television the other day talking about, we didn't put people on the roof because it's a slope.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
Watch her get destroyed in this congressional hearing. She actually get destroyed. I mean, one by one, they just spanking her over the head. And with the information that we know now, you hear a little bit of it in this hearing. The information we know now, the abilities in which she's capable of, now we know, is no way that this woman keeps her job. Just on GP, you got to step down. You cannot have an assassination of a president and you still keep your job. Pretty much he was assassinated because there's nothing that the Secret Service did that stopped anything from happening. It was all Trump doing like this. Roll the clip.
At this time, how the information from the people in the crowd was relayed to any law enforcement personnel.
No, you knew, that everyone knew. The people there knew that there was a danger. They knew there was a threat to President Trump, and it was allowed to happen. Was there a stand-down order, Ms. Cheatle? Was there a conspiracy to kill President Trump?
Absolutely not.
Then how did this happen? And why are you still sitting here not turning in your letter of resignation?
Last question, but please answer, and then I'll recognize Ms. Presley. Please answer that question.
That is what we are investigating to determine.
We're waiting for your letter. We're waiting for your letter of resignation, and you really need to consider doing that before you leave today.
Chair, no.
You established early.
Hold on, let me say this real quick. The first clip. Let me just say this. I don't like when people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Her take and that little thing was like one that I don't like. Like, because all you're doing is talking trash. You're not really getting anywhere. You like threatening people, being mean to them, like you're gonna beat them up or something. I just don't like that. I like substantive conversations that are had that literally makes a mockery of what this woman is doing. Even AOC had the courage. I don't know if she was smoking a blunt before she came in here and all of a sudden her liberalism failed her. But even she had enough courage to ask some real questions. Wrote a clip.
Here that the building upon which the shooter
she's still an idiot, but
operated from was outside of that established perimeter, correct, for the Butler, Pennsylvania event?
It was outside of our secure perimeter, yes.
Now, that building was, I believe, 500. How far away was that building from the president?
It was approximately 200 yards.
200 yards. Now, the individual used an AR-15 in order to act out his assassination attempt. An AR-15 has a range of about 400 to 600 yards. My question is, why does the Secret Service perimeter, why is the Secret Service protective perimeter shorter than one of the most popular semi-automatic weapons in the United States?
She's an idiot for what she said, but I think she's at least asking a reasonable question. let me just stick to this real quick. An AR-15, like there's different types of AR-15s, right? There's different types of payload in these rounds. You got 5.56, you got 2.23, you got 308, you got 300 blackout. I mean, you got a lot of different bullet types on these AR platforms. And yeah, the range can be 500 yards. There's no way that a regular person is hitting somebody accurately from 500, 600 yards. I don't even know if you can get a clear shot on somebody from 600 yards in most metropolitan areas. So what the whole 600-yard thing is kind of pointless, but keep going.
There are a number of weapons out there with a number of ranges. Again, an advance was completed. The determination of the perimeter, I'm not going to speak to specifics, but there are a number of factors that are taken into account when we determine our perimeter. Some of it has to do with terrain, some of it has to do with buildings, some of it has to do with assets and resources that are available.
And so what I'm hearing is that a perimeter was not established outdoors in an outdoor venue that would prevent an AR-15, which is one of the most common weapons used in mass shootings, from being able to be within the range of Secret Service protection.
A perimeter was established, and even though there were buildings that were outside of that perimeter, it wasn't just that building. There were a number of buildings in the area, and there was overwatch that was created to help mitigate some of those buildings.
Before this gentleman start ripping her, because it's starting to get better and better as we get to the video, but you know, AOC is saying the most popular used in mass shootings. Yeah, it's one of the most popular. The most popular is a handgun. Anyway,
with the slopes, you go all up to like 1812. You can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there. But the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build a ramp for a wheelchair on a 112 roof. So these are nothing but pathetic excuses, and they make no sense, and they're a bunch of cow dung. All the law enforcement I've spoken with over the last 9 days are amazed that the AGR rooftop was not secure. You want to know why? Because it's dangerous. I have never had any long gun training in my life. I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it one time my whole life. It was 6 years ago. That is until Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened in Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. And I knew that he had a scope. I didn't know what kind, red dot or magnified. So I shot 8 rounds from both. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey Comparatore's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous. It was the nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Now, let me give a caveat to this just real quick. You know, when he talks about how his kill shots and all that stuff, the environment in which you can replicate something is a lot better of an environment, right? When you're not in fear of getting counter-sniped, when you're not running and hiding and your adrenaline is rushing and your heart rate is up and your breathing is erratic, and you're taking single shots from an AR-15 platform, you know, on a rooftop somewhere, yeah, your grouping can be pretty decent. But when you add all these elements in it, I guarantee his shots were everywhere. And if you take your time and you just go ping, 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 you're going to get accurate shots. When you're going like the shooter did, pow, 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 there's no way you're going to get a group like this. Impossible. Somebody prove to me that you are an amateur. When I say amateur, that means somebody who isn't sniping people for a living. An amateur. And then a lot of people don't like to see gore, right? So they close their eyes when they pull the trigger because they don't want to see somebody's head. You know. Anyway, roll the clip.
Let me ask you one more question. You found explosives in the shooter's possession. Is that correct?
The FBI found explosives.
Do we know who directed this young man how to make those explosives?
I believe that the FBI is still looking into that on their investigation.
Ms. Cheatle, you said that the buck stops with me, and I agree. I don't think you should resign. I think you should have been fired. Ma'am, you are a DEI horror story. I've told my daughter multiple times, my wife and my daughter, we talk to her all the time about how she's going to succeed in life. She'll succeed in life by achieving. Ma'am, you have not achieved today. You've let the American public down. If it was up to me, you'd be gone. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman.
On said roof.
Hold on, y'all. Homeboy said, you a DEI disgrace. Holy smokes. Dang, I didn't know he's going to go there. Come on, Byron.
Because I'm quite sure somebody saw in under your organization, the Secret Service, I am quite sure somebody saw the shooter on the roof. So what was the communication through the chain of command to deal with said person?
What I can tell you is that when the individual was identified by the counter sniper, they took one shot and neutralized that individual.
But that was after the shooter already took a shot. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So what you're saying now is that the Secret Service did not see the shooter on the roof until after the shooter took a shot?
I do not have all of those details at this time.
If you don't have those details after 9 days, Director, then what you're telling me is that you guys didn't see it. Is that correct?
I am telling you I don't have all the details of the sequence at this time.
Director, it's been 9 days. Either you have the information or you do not. Is that correct?
We are still in the process of conducting interviews and an investigation.
Some of my colleagues have texted me over the last couple days, bipartisan, about whether you should lose your job. And I've been quiet on that question because I wanted to see what you were going to do today. In my opinion, you do need to be fired.
He said he acknowledged the Secret Service had turned down some requests. I'm asking how many?
A denial of a request does not equal a vulnerability.
Well, tell me what it is.
There are a number of ways that threats and risks can be mitigated with a number of different assets, whether that be through personnel, whether that be through technology, or other resources.
Well, tell the committee which it was. They asked for additional help in some form or another. You told them no. How many times did you tell them no, and what did you tell them no to?
Again, I cannot speak to specific incidents, but I can tell you in general terms, the Secret Service is judicious with their resources.
Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question, yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible.
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure, yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable, yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent, yes or no?
I have always been
yes
eager
or
to
no.
come
You didn't
and
want to
talk
answer
to
the question.
committee.
We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political, yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bullshit. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record.
Let me just add, Marjorie Taylor Greene and this woman, I do not like the way they interviewed. Jim Jordan, Byron Donalds, I think did an amazing job. This right here is so demeaning and just catty that it serves no purpose. You're asking a woman a question you know the answer for just the grandstand. I don't like that. And then you use curse words. I don't like when people use curse words in a professional setting. This is a professional hearing. You're a Republican. You should have enough decorum to not curse. When you've rehearsed this whole thing already before you said it. This woman, I had a problem with her in another interview. She rehearsed the cuss word into her stuff. She knows at this point she's gonna say a cuss word. Now the lady, the director of the Secret Service is a nut, and she should lose her job. But these kind of questions where you just attacking somebody is pointless. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, you're doing it is pointless. So I'm just playing it because these are people that came after her, and I want to give them you an opportunity to hear kind of what some of the things that were said to her. But I don't like this type of interviewing. It's just you ask her a rhetorical question, or you ask her some crazy exaggerated question and say yes or no on it. And therefore, she either got to admit to some crazy explanation of what you're saying, or she got to say no. And either one is a weird losing situation. She deserves to be fired and be in a position where she has to be held accountable. I just don't like the way they interviewed.
Articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m. A solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection, so ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th, yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman, I want to.
Come on.
We have to maintain decorum in this committee, no matter how
have you provided
upset we
any
get.
and all memos to this committee that we've asked you on July 15th? Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
that. That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. Like you're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay. And you have said you don't know, you have no idea. Well, the answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for. So, was this attempted assassination of Donald Trump a failure of training or execution or both?
I think that those are answers that we need to
training, execution, or both. Which one?
I think those are answers.
All right. How many Secret Service personnel have lost their jobs due to this colossal failure?
At this time, none.
How many Secret Service personnel have been required to take a refresher course on how not to let people shoot Donald Trump?
Our personnel are currently operational. We are examining the facts of this investigation, and we will make the changes necessary.
What time did law enforcement become aware that there was an individual on the roof with a clear line of sight to President Trump?
I am still verifying timelines.
Of course, 9 days in, you have no answers. How many minutes went by between the time law enforcement saw and took photos of crooks and the shooting? How many minutes?
I am still verifying timelines.
57 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
All right, let me interject here. I want to play a group of people who were questioning the director. There's tons of people that were questioning the director. I think a lot of people asked really good questions. It seemed like the women on the panel actually were a little more emotional than I think they should have been. This stuff is very clean. You ask her the question, you don't get emotional. You ask her the question, you get she either got the answer or she don't have the answer. Then you can articulate very clearly with your time that she's evading the question. You don't have to get catty. You don't have to be emotional and cussing and saying all this stuff and asking exaggerated stuff like, was it a conspiracy to kill Trump? I mean, you know she's not going to say yes to that Marjorie Taylor Greene did. You got to succinctly go through like Byron Donalds, Jim Jordan did. The guy from Texas even was very firm about the slope of the roof and all of these other things and said you need to resign. There's no way in the world this woman shouldn't get fired. Like, resignation is the nice way. She should get fired. You cannot have such a failure while you're the director and you keep your job. How? Just on optics. You have to lose your position. You clearly failed. The buck stops at you. You failed. You got Donald Trump assassinated. Thank God he had his hand in at least evading Trump getting killed and multiple other people. I mean, but you guys missed the basic oversight of a roof of a little corny, skinny white dude with no training, no real training. He had explosive device. He was trying to do a mass shooting. You guys couldn't cover a roof. Now, I get it. We'll still be mad if he's shot from the water tower. But at least that to be maybe a more difficult position. Maybe it's so far out there. You got counter snipers that you don't want to put somebody on top of a water tower. That's dangerous. But you're talking about a slope roof that was less sloped than the roof that the counter sniper was wrong. Then how does everybody around point out and talk about the guy in law enforcement? Nobody's communicating and Secret Service isn't aware of any of this. Then they become aware and Trump is still on the stage. You got to step down. You got to step down or they should be firing you. Like, I mean, football coaches get fired for stuff way worse than this. I mean, way simpler than this. A football coach loses too many games, they fire him. You got somebody killed, people seriously injured, and you almost got the president killed. And I call him the president because he's pretty much the president. He was a past president, and he's potentially the front runner in being the future president. And you pretty much got him killed on the weakest tactic ever in mankind history. 140 yards away. Y'all can't even look at it. Y'all can't even stop it. Y'all got people in the building. They can't hear that man on the top of the roof going boom, 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 crawling, and people outside saying, he got a gun on the roof. Y'all, what are y'all doing? I'm done. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.